Thank you so much. Welcome everybody, good afternoon. My name is Phaedra Divris. I am the head of our Solutions Architect team for the Commercial West team within AWS. And today I've also got two of my guests who are part of Luminate. I've got Glenn Walker, who is the Chief Data Officer of Luminate, as well as the Senior Vice President of Luminate Data. Sorry, I actually misstated it. Julian Pan, who is the Senior Vice President of Data for Luminate. And today we're here to talk about the AI-powered entertainment and music and insights that Luminate brings to the table through using our generative AI services. So with that, there we go, there was that. What I want to briefly touch upon is in the beginning of 2023, everybody heard the term generative AI and got very excited, but nobody really fully understood it. But it was part of everyone's conversation and talk track. If you fast forward to the end of 2024, now we have companies that are actually figuring out not only the use cases that they were struggling with throughout 2023 to figure out the value, but also now building out proof of concepts to show that value, and as well going into production with a lot of these services as well. Now from an AWS standpoint, we obviously grew along with that. For years we've had AI and machine learning services, but we've added to that in the last year and a half, 2 years through generative AI that we've released. Services such as Amazon Bedrock and Amazon Q. And some of those services are actually being used by Luminate. And with that, I would like to introduce Glenn Walker to come up to the stage from Luminate. He will talk a little bit about who Luminate is and what it is that they did from a transformation perspective using generative AI. Glenn, all yours. You're welcome.
Is this working? All right, yeah. Good afternoon. Thanks everyone for coming. I guess I'll start by just telling you a little bit about Luminate. So Luminate is a major provider of data to the music and entertainment industry. We receive data from companies such as Amazon, Apple, Spotify, Walmart, Target, 400 independent record stores, and many, many more on a daily basis. What we're most publicly known for is we both compile and build the Billboard music charts on a weekly basis. And in addition to that, we also build the variety streaming original charts as well. And again, we work obviously with most of the major companies across all of entertainment. On the music side, we have several products. Primarily, we've got a music product that measures music consumption, again, across 48 different international territories in the United States. We also measure market share for all the labels. So we determine is Warner bigger than Sony, etc. So on the film and TV side, we have a few different products. We have an OTT streaming measurement product that we're going to show you a little bit of later when Julian comes up. And we also have a market-leading metadata product as well. And then we have our insights team, which does more sort of consultative work to all of our customers. Got it. Entertainment is obviously very pervasive across our world, and probably most of you even just today have already sort of interacted with it in some way by streaming a song or watching a show or seeing a video or whatever. That obviously is generating significant amounts of data on a minute-by-minute basis, and our goal as Luminate is to capture as much of that nationally and internationally as possible. The significance with us is that by capturing this data, we're looking to extract as much insight out of that as we possibly can. Okay. We ingest between 3.5 and 4 terabytes of data daily. as a company, and we've spent the past 2 years, give or take, rebuilding all of our data infrastructure and data platform in order to kind of scale with the growth that we're seeing across the industry and get ourselves in a better position to be able to provide additional insights within our product offering. We're now in the sort of the final stages of that project. We're just starting to migrate customers to our new next-gen platform, and as a result, we're starting to look more at sort of advanced analytics, generative AI, and other things that we can actually provide more prescriptive knowledge to our customers. Giving a couple examples, so for example, on the music side, for artist management in terms of insights and things like that, we're able to determine, say, if you were an artist manager and you wanted to look at where you should tour, we're able to get down to sort of all the way down to the venue data. So we're basically able to say, what's your historical sales, where are you most popular at this time, where are your physical sales occurring, down to a DMA and also a zip code level, and we're able to optimize that planning across all of that. In addition, you could look at it from a marketing perspective. We're able to tell, again, from on the music side, artists, the best place to advertise, market, et cetera, et cetera. In terms of how we do that, there's a lot more examples I could give. I think it's probably in the interest of time. We're happy to take some questions at the end, and Julian and I can kind of wait around if anyone has more questions or they want to talk more about that. But for now, I think it's probably best just to throw it to Julian and let him kind of go into the next steps of how we have been approaching that.
Hello. Thank you, Glenn. So first of all, I'm not here to tell you we could build an innovative AI solution. Because if you look around, half the company here, they're probably doing the same thing, right? And the other half will probably provide different type of service, a tool, allow everyone to execute their Gen AI project. So I'm mainly here to share our journey to utilize the Luminate unique data set, provide a different way to generate actionable insight to the entertainment industry. We built all this project with a team of 4, and we spent around 8-9 weeks. All this is possible because we leverage AWS managed service that allow to execute this project quickly. So let me start to show you a little bit the architecture solution. On the right-hand side, or your left-hand side. On my left-hand side, we have the data pipeline. So after the multi-year big replatform effort that we did, so we put all our data into both AWS S3 and the Snowflake. So this allows us to access everything, all of our data in one place. And early last year, we built our new data pipeline mainly use dbt and the Snowpark. So this new data pipeline allows us to run through a lot of new experiments, try a lot of new ideas, and that's kind of serve the foundation for us to build a new AI project. On my right-hand side, that we build a new new API endpoint specific for the AI agent. We leverage Amazon API Gateway, provide both the Slack integration, which is mainly used for internal user for testing purposes. We also build a WebSocket API so that it's provide a low latency and synchronized communication that allows us to easily integrate with the front-end application. On the center part, we have agentic workflow. We leverage Bedrock agent to orchestrate the whole agent workflow. Bedrock agent is a production-ready agentic workflow that allows to provide the scalability and also seamlessly integrates all the AWS services. so that we skip the headache to manage and operate some other open source alternative by ourselves. Behind the Bedrock agent, we implement set of Lambda function that provide different kind of a tool, different kind of it's like action from access structured data, unstructured data, summarize the data point through the kind of aggregate data point, aggregate matrix, and also build some function to provide data visualization to help us user to better understand our data. For the LLM model part, we leverage both AWS Bedrock and the Snowflake Cortex. This multi-provider approach allows us to basically pick the best model for specific use case that helps us balance the performance, the runtime latency, and also the cost of running different LLM models. So you can, as you might notice, the whole kind of framework is built on top of a service architecture. This allows us to let the Amazon to handle the challenge of scaling and maintain the infrastructure, so that we can focus on deliver the actionable insight that only Luminate can provide. So I'm going to, here's like a quick demo that demonstrates how we integrate the AI model, the AI agent, with the OTT streaming consumption data that Glenn just mentioned. So here, our goal is not like, say, provide a kind of an AI feature that kind of standalone feature by itself. Our goal is to provide a different way that the user can interact with the data through this conversational interface, and then allow us user to access a lot of different data points that we have and not directly exposed to our dashboard. Oh, it's working. So yeah, when the demo is working, I will talk a little about the kind of how we execute this project. So behind the scene, we implement different type of tool set to provide the kind of different action, different function to the AI agent. So first, enable to allow the AI agent to access the structured data. We partner with Snowflake, leverage the Cortex Analyst. Cortex Analyst is a kind of managed text-to-SQL service. Since most of our data after the replatform is either stored on AWS S3 or Snowflake tables. So by leverage the Cortex Analyst, that we don't need to kind of replicate our data or kind of re-index our data just for the reg purposes. So for some kind of a simple kind of operational question, such as how to use a certain type of product feature that we build, we use Cortex Search, which is a managed reg service. Cortex Search is similar to, if you're familiar with Bedrock knowledge base, it's a managed reg service that mainly use the text embedding. So it's pretty effective. Because the managed service, we don't need to do a lot of like fine-tuning, chunking, and choose a different embedding model. So it allows to just off the shelf serve some of the basic kind of Q&A type of question. But for more complicated kind of queries, such as sometimes like our user asks us like what are the top 3 Japanese TV shows that's similar to Netflix, Stranger Things, for example, right? So such a query that involves access a lot of different data to execute both syntactic search and also semantic search. So to enable to handle this kind of a question, we build a hybrid reg solution that leverage both the text embedding and the graph embedding. So to start, we build an entity graph on top of the metadata Luminate manage and maintain. So after that, we train a kind of graph embedding model that allows us to measure the similarity between different entities based on the graph structure and also the attribute of each graph node. By combination of graph embedding and text embedding, we also can tune the Bedrock agent to kind of deconstruct a very complicated query into multiple small chunks, small steps. That allows us to leverage both the RAG and the text-to-SQL functionality to execute various kind of query search so that we can provide accurate and the correct answer to our users. We also build a visualization generation process, which is very similar to the built-in code interpreter function that come with a Bedrock agent. The reason that we opt into implement our own solution is that we have a little bit more flexibility and more control. So we control something like styling and also enhance the security. And also that allows us to leverage the latest cloud model for code generation. Finally, the most important part of when we execute this project is that we extend our data pipeline, and we build a kind of feature store. If you're familiar with machine learning, like we build like a centralized feature store that sort of describe all the different entities that we care about, from the movie, TV, for the people involved in each entertainment title, to the streaming platform. So this feature store capture all the different facts and different metrics that we collect and associate with the different metrics. So that allow the AI agent to quickly access the summarized data and synthesize the response that provide the answer to our user's question. Obviously, Luminate, the mission of Luminate is to provide the most trustworthy entertainment data so that user can use our data to kind of make a educated decision. So the correctness of the AI response is very important to us. So we leverage AWS SageMaker and some other kind of open source evaluation framework that allows us to evaluate and validate all the model and different action that we have that ensure the AI model always provide the accurate and the correct information. So with that, I'd like to thank you to come to our session. I hope you enjoy the rest of the reInvent conference.